Here's what's bugging me. There's just so much misinformation within the space community, and right now, in an incredible time when we have two comets intersecting above the Earth in the northern hemisphere, Comet SWAN, which is coming from the southern hemisphere up to the northern, and then overarching will be Comet Atlas, and this is between the 13th and the 23rd of May, which for unknown reasons the Q says is an important date. May 13th is an important date according to the Q community. I don't know why, but it's just filtered out that way. What we do know is that on May 13th, Comet SWAN is going to have its closest approach to the planet Earth. And then Comet Atlas, which we're supposed to think is in fragments, but the amateur astronomical community does not see fragments. What they see when they look at Comet Atlas is still a whole atlas, and it still is pretty big, although they tell us it's dimmed, but by most folks that look on their telescopes, they see it pretty much the same brightness. Then we have Comet SWAN. And we were supposed to be amazed at Comet Atlas because it was going to be bright, it's going to be fast, it's going to have a big tail. Well, guess who is big and bright and fast? That's Comet SWAN. Have we heard anything in the news about Comet SWAN and the excitement that it should be generating? No, not really. And the tail and the amount of hydrogen coming off of that comet is just super impressive. And we were able to find this comet, not we, but a unit in Australia on a summit called SWAN, that's why it has the name SWAN, spotted this comet because of the vast amount of hydrogen it was giving off. Here's the misinformation that really has me griped right now. According to JPL, comets are relatively small icy bodies. But according to the comets that we've landed on, and one that was landed on by the European Space Agency, by the space probe Rosetta, which is one that I'm very familiar with, it landed on an active comet called Churyumov-Gerasimenko, and I'm not going to go into the naming convention of this comet, called 67P. You can look it up, please do, on the Wikipedia pages. And you're going to see, by all the observations, this comet, like every comet and asteroid that we have seen and documented, is a big clump of dust and rocks. That's all a comet is, a clump of dirt and rocks. There's no ice on these things. These things are bone dry. You know, in the nerve of the Wikipedia article says that one of the things that Rosetta Stone was going to do was to drill down and get a core sample, but its lander had a problem and was not able to do a core sample. But they did get to a certain measurement of the surface, and of course it's dirt and rocks. But then in the article it says 20 inches down is solid ice. There's no science to prove that. That's just an out and out lie. It's a fabrication that was put on this Wikipedia page. There is no ice on a comet. There is no ice in an asteroid. There's hydrogen, there's oxygen particles, there's different particles that make up these dust and rock lumps, but it's not ice. So why the lie? Why the constant lying to the public. I don't understand that. Why does NASA and JPL put out this fabrication that these are lumps of ice when there is just no proof of that? And common sense dictates that if a lump of ice goes around the sun and goes really fast, well, it's going to melt. So this just really bothers me. The second thing that bothers me are the trajectory and the orbits of the comets, because they go way out. So they shouldn't be coming back to the sun, because their orbits and their weight does not equivocate the vast orbits that they have. Now, if Planet 9 is out there, then if they go around the sun and then loop back around Planet 9, then we're going to have an understandable orbit of these comets, especially since they're going in different directions. So these comets are trying to tell a story. The story that is coming through JPL and NASA is a complete fabrication and a lie. There are not comets of ice. They're not bodies of ice. They are bodies of dust and dirt held together by very weak, very weak gravity fields. And gravity is not a magical thing. The more mass you have, the more gravity you have. It is a simple equation. Mass equals gravity. So hopefully we can figure some of this out. But misinformation and the lack of information that we're getting from NASA and JPL is absolutely disturbing. So something's coming, something's happening, the silence is deafening, and do some research and help the Breadcrumbs Project establish this clear fact that comets are not icy objects. And some comets are giving off some gases that don't make sense if they're just bodies of rock. Now, if they are some kind of vehicle giving off an exhaust, like a steady stream of hydrogen, that is something that a vehicle with a propulsion system would give off. And I think that's quite probable. So hopefully we'll start getting some more information. We've got a lot of misinformation in our system. I don't have much to add to that. Help me do some research on comets. Help me understand why NASA and JPL would say these are balls of ice when they're not. And let's bring some clarity to the messaging, because it is within the YouTube community and within the smaller discussions that the truth is coming out. It's certainly not coming out in the mainstream media. It still blows my mind that the Pentagon has admitted the existence of UFOs and none of the mainstream media is taking this as gravely and as shockingly as it is. We have massive amounts of unidentified flying objects, which these 3 videos attest to. And this old stodgy Pentagon has been forced to admit that they are UFOs, so much so that they have gone to the White House and to Congress, and neither one of those institutions, with what they saw, told the Pentagon, keep your mouth shut, just stay with the same policy. There's something that is pushing this change in policy from NASA. So we have misinformation, we have no information, we have an about face of UFOs and extraterrestrials on planet Earth from the Pentagon and from the President of the United States and from the US government. And then we have no discussion of this at all within the mainstream media sources. So this is all being kept hush-hush. But I'm paying attention. I am raising the alarm and pointing out that we need to be paying attention to these great things and prepare yourself for anything that might be coming. That's all I'm saying. Please be prepared. have up to 2 months of supplies, and practice your spirituality, and then say good things, think good thoughts, and do good things, which is the basic Zoroastrian belief. And I did post something on my Facebook page, which is a recording of somebody singing the Epic of Gilgamesh in Sumerian. And as they were singing the Sumerian language with the subtitles, you could see that they were saying that in ancient times, so our most ancient civilization that we have on this planet, the Sumerian society, was singing about the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is happening in ancient times. So there was a civilization before our current civilization, and that civilization may be revisiting us. That could be clearly happening. All right, guys. How frustrating. Peace. Peace, peace, peace.